When creating survey questions, you should always have your survey's purpose in mind. We recommend that you use one of Enalyzer's survey templates, but this doesn't mean that you can't edit or delete or even add your own questions to make the survey fit your purpose. Good survey questions ask the right thing the right way, but this is easier said than done. In this video, we'll provide you some of our general guidelines for writing good survey questions, and more specifically, what not to do. The 7 guidelines we'll go through are: get specific answers, avoid ambiguity, minimize jargon and slang, ensure that response options are exhaustive, prevent overlapping response options, ask one thing at a time, and avoid leading questions. Your goal is to create questions that offers actionable insights. Simple yes/no questions might not help you here. For instance, harassment at the workplace is a key concern. By all means, no employee should be harassed at the workplace. So if you ask a simple question like, have you been exposed to harassment? Yes, no. That won't get you very far. Instead, you should write specific questions such as, how often have you been exposed to harassment? In which ways have you been exposed to harassment? And by whom? By being specific, you'll get a better understanding of the issue. Ambiguous questions and response options can make your survey's results unreliable and difficult to interpret. When the meaning of a question depends on who's reading it, you can't really rely on the responses. Let's take a look at the following question asking into respondents' exercise habits. How often do you engage in 30 minutes of high-intensity exercise? With the response options 1, never, 2, seldom, 3, sometimes, 4, often, 5, always, and then we have the don't know. There are 2 problems with this question. First, what do we mean by high intensity? Second, the response options are vague. So what do you mean by often? Is it once a week, twice a week? To fix this question, I would do 2 things. I would provide a definition of high intensity exercise, and I would also be more specific in my response options. For example, instead of often, I would write 3 to 4 times a week. Jargon and slang are normal. Often we don't even notice when we use it. Certain words or expressions might be common to you, but they don't make sense to the respondents. So if in doubt, always go for the simple but clear option. A good idea can be to include representatives or peers of your target audience in the pilot test. This way you can make them mark words or expressions that they don't know the meaning of. Your response options should always be exhaustive. If none of your response options fit with what the respondents experience or feel, they might just take a random pick to continue the survey or opt out altogether. Let's take a look at the following example. How often do you work from home? With the response options 1 day a week, 2 to 3 days a week, or 4 to 5 days a week. But what about the employees who don't work from home? What should they choose? If you're afraid that you haven't been able to add all relevant response options, I recommend you to add an other option where respondents can type in what they have experienced. It's important to make sure that each response option is distinct and doesn't overlap with other response options, as this can lead to confusion for the respondents. Let's say you have a survey and you want to ask, how old are you? Then you make the response options 18 to 25, 25 to 35, 35 to 45, etc. What then if you're 35? What would you choose? All of these response options overlap. To avoid this, use mutually exclusive options. So, to fix this question and its response options, it will say, how old are you? With the response options 18 to 24, 25 to 34, 35 to 44, etc. We often say, keep your survey short, sweet, and to the point. But in the efforts of trying to compress the length of your survey, don't squeeze multiple questions into one. I have an example. Customer support was friendly and answered my inquiry quickly. What if they were friendly, but it took 2 days for them to answer? What should I then do? Here, either split the question into 2 or keep the question that is most important to you. Always be as objective as possible writing your questions. Leading questions can influence how respondents answer. To give an example, let's say I have just been in contact with the customer support team and I didn't have a good experience. Afterwards, I get a survey with the question, how satisfied were you with our hard-working support team? Then I start to wonder, okay, they're really hard-working. Maybe they have too much to do. Then, based on that, they actually manage pretty well. So, if you want honest feedback, avoid leading questions. We hope this video helps you. Remember, writing good questions is a process of trial and error. So, write your questions, conduct your survey, analyze your results, review your questions, and try again.